great thing about crop tree release is its ease in implementation. So the cutting of the competing stems around your crop tree doesn't have to be pretty. You see a lot of high stumps around me right now, and it's actually cut at a at a higher height than what most trees are harvested at. Typically, when you'd want to see your logger cutting trees down at as low to the ground as possible. Here, we're not so worried about what happens to these residual stems. So if it's more comfortable for you to hold a chainsaw at waist height, you can leave these high stumps behind. That's okay. All we're really trying to do is just free up growing space for these crop trees. So it's easy to implement. It's relatively it's a relatively low intensity treatment where you're only trying to hit 10, 30 trees per acre. So it's not a real intensive treatment. Because we're doing it in stem exclusion, the trees that you're cutting generally aren't very large, so you don't have to worry about hurting yourself in the process. You have to be a little bit concerned, but not overly concerned. Usually once these trees start to get cut, because of their size, you can usually just sort of push them in the direction you want them to go. They're also of a size that if you wanted to use herbicide instead of saws, chainsaws or hand saws in order to manually fell them, you can. So it's a relatively easy treatment to implement as long as you have some goals in mind and know what trees to target. So roughly 20 to 30 trees per acre can possess the vast majority of value on that stand from an ecological or economic perspective. So rather than spend money toward trying to accomplish an ecological or economic goal over the entirety of our ownership, we can kind of focus those efforts more intensely on those trees that are going to bring us that value. And that's what crop tree release is. Finding those 20 to 30 trees-ish that are going to possess that value and kind of provide the services and functions that we want our forest to possess. So we just recently panned across what was a stand that had no crop tree release performed on it to a tree, which is what's behind me, this forked stem behind me, which is a chestnut oak, that we performed crop tree release on a number of years ago. So what that crop tree release did was it removed trees that were in competition with these crop trees, with these focal stems. These are actually stump sprouts from the same stump cluster. So at one point this was all one tree, multiple stems originated from the same stump. We removed some of those stumps in addition to some other trees surrounding these crop trees to free up growing space. In doing so, we accelerated the diameter growth of this tree. We assured that it's going to live, or at least as best we can, assured that it's going to live. And what we've also done is increase the size of the crown of this tree. By allowing this tree to receive more light, it's going to shed its lower branches at a slower rate, or maybe hold on to those lower branches for a longer period of time. And meanwhile, it's growing from above. So the crown is lengthening as a result of holding on to its lower branches and growing in height. And what we end up getting is a tree that has a larger crown, meaning it has a larger photosynthetic engine to grow faster. And now it also has more real estate to support hard and soft mast, which in many cases is, from an ecological or wildlife perspective, is a goal that we have through crop tree release. We increase the amount of crown, we increase not only its ability to grow, but its ability to support things like acorns, black cherries, what have you.